Hello, everyone. Yep. So, hi Tech Guys. Hi Ragul. Awesome, awesome. So, can you guys see me as well as hear me clearly? Hi Maharshi. Weekend right. So yeah, we'll wait for a few minutes and then we'll start. Okay. Let me just message Chinmay. Okay. Cool. So yeah, this event, right? This event is was specially organized for the Pune developer community 2 weeks ago. It was scheduled to be happen on 5th of August, but due to some technical glitch, I was speaking to myself for quite some time because the software showed I was live and streaming, and there was no live chat as such that I have here. So Chinmay Kulkarni and thanks to Akshay and Chinmay, this event got reorganized and rescheduled to today, and we decided to have it on my channel itself. So whatever I am familiar with, right? So I know OBS, I know like what's working when it is not working, and yeah, it will be recorded, and also anyone will be able to view it after that. So if you are from the Pune developer community, just say hi and tell me, okay, I came from PDC, because some people also will come from my channel, so it will be happy to know. Hi Bro Labs, yeah, Chinmay's company. Awesome. Hi Chinmay. I assume this is you. Yeah, so there were a lot of more attendees in the first scheduled session, but yeah, technical glitch and some reasons. It's fine, we'll have many more sessions going forward. So let's jump into it. So if you are already familiar with Frappe framework, you will find it very basic. I have lots of other contents. If you want to explore other areas of the framework, do check them out and like subscribe, right? So you can get notified when new episodes go live. I usually do like episodes every Wednesday 2:30 p.m. where we build something, right? That's why the name Build with Hussain. So yeah, let me just start by sharing my screen. Yeah. So here if you see, let me just make myself a little okay. Yeah, this is fine. So today we are going to talk about Frappe framework from the very start. I am assuming you have no knowledge of Frappe framework, and that's how we'll go. So before we jump into Frappe framework, right? Let me just give you a brief about Frappe. So Frappe, I work at Frappe, and I wear this hoodie from Frappe, right? So Frappe is a technology company. So we built 100% open source software, and we have been building Frappe framework in ERP Next since 2008. There was Rushabh and Nabeen and Prakashji and Umair, who are the co-founders. And basically what we do is like the flagship product of ours is ERP Next, you might have heard of. ERP Next is basically 100% open source ERP solution with a lot of modules like accounts and yeah, sophisticated. And ERP Next is built on top of a framework, which is Frappe framework, which makes it very easy for anyone using ERP Next to customize it, right? The customization power doesn't come from ERP Next itself, but the framework that it has been used to build. So any custom app built on Frappe framework will get the same capabilities as ERP Next. For example, custom we'll go over some. So I'm not going into ERP Next, but we also launched several other products. I will tell you more about it as we proceed. But here are some links. So the first link is FF intro slides. Basically, it is the link to the slides that I posted in the YouTube chat as well. And then the second link is a sign up link for Frappe Cloud. So Frappe Cloud is our managed hosting platform for Frappe apps, right? So here, using this particular link, you will get a 15-day free trial without credit card for a Frappe site, right? For Frappe framework only, vanilla Frappe site, no custom apps. But it will be very useful if you could just sign up here if you don't want or have local setup, and you can follow along. So about me, right? I am Mohammad Hussain Nagaria. I am a trainer, evangelist, engineer, lot of stuff at Frappe. And yeah, I love building stuff. I love Frappe framework. And so yeah, check out this website, buildwithhussain.dev. Here you will find all the previous episodes as well as schedule of the upcoming episodes, and you will be able to sign up if you want to get notified about new episodes, and so on and so forth. So yeah, live every Wednesday 2:30 p.m. So yeah, what is Frappe framework, right? Frappe framework. So let me go by comparison. So Frappe framework is a Python plus JavaScript full stack, batteries included, web development framework. It is low code, no code as well. So it is MIT licensed, 100% open source, so you don't have to worry about that. But it makes it a breeze to build sophisticated web applications with like very rich admin UI that is baked into it in like record amount of time. So I have been doing it in like episodes. If you check out them, that I use Frappe framework to build an app in 2 hours, build some stuff in like record time, right? So I will show you how you can do that too. So what's possible using Frappe framework? As I mentioned, ERP Next is built on Frappe framework. We have Frappe HR. We have new products that have like very sleek UI, UX, but the backend is Frappe framework, right? That is game plan. There is LMS, so a free 100% open source learning management system, Frappe LMS. Then we have Frappe Insights, which is a data analytics tool, not just for Frappe sites, but you can connect any SQL database like Postgres and work on it. That is also built on Frappe framework. And how can I miss? Our whole cloud platform, right? Frappe Cloud is also built on Frappe framework. Yep. So I named this talk or session hybrid full stack web development, right? So this is not the official definition. This is my definition of Frappe framework. Hybrid in the sense, you have typical MVC frameworks, right? You have Django, Laravel, Node.js with Express, where everything is code. You define a class and you make migrations, you get a table. Something similar in 3 of this. And you have a lot of control, like everything is code. You don't have low code or some capabilities, right? Automation capabilities without writing code. And the other end of the spectrum is the low code, no code tools like Retool or Buddybase or Airtable or Tooljet, but they are not coding. What do you say? You can't build normal stuff that you could build with Django in these tools. So they are completely on that spectrum, no code. And Frappe is the best of both worlds. So you get the power of typical MVC frameworks with the power of low code, no code tools like Retool, Buddybase. So you don't have to write as much as of the code, and you have some automation, no code and low code properties directly baked into the admin interface that we'll go over. But as and when required, you can jump into full code mode, that you can build custom apps that you control everything, right? You define new entities, you write Python code, you write JavaScript code to customize the views, You can write portal pages, web views, right? All low code, but fully under your control. So yeah, best of both worlds. So batteries included, right? It says on the website batteries included. What is this? So you have a very rich admin interface. We call the desk. There is authentication and authorization baked right in. So there is a role permission system as well. We have real time and socket IO. We have email and PDFs, caching with Redis, REST API and webhooks, ready-made REST API and webhooks. So you don't even have to write code to generate that REST API. There is a scheduler for running cron, and yeah, so many things. I've just listed a few that I think are most critical to building any kind of sophisticated web app these days. But yeah, so the major thing, right? Everything in Frappe framework comes down to this, a doc type. So think of it as this way. So doc type is analogous to database models in other frameworks, normal frameworks. So in Frappe 2, like it creates a database model in the backend for this doc type, but it has like very enhanced information also attached to it. So we call it metadata, and that's why Frappe is called a metadata driven development framework, right? So the entity itself contains the permissions, the schema and relationships, like what the other table or what the other doc type is linked to this one-to-many relationship, one-to-one relationship, all of that you define in this doc type schema or metadata, right? You can control the form layout and settings of the fields. Okay, this field should not be visible in this form. This field should be read only. All that metadata is also stored with the model. So it is model plus view, right? You can have web views, right? And you have a list view, form view. So these standard views are baked into the rich admin UI, and you can control them with metadata. That okay, this field should not be visible in the list view. This should be visible in the list view. You can have filters. It will become much clearer when we dive deeper into that, like using a demo. And you have, apart from the metadata, you have extension features, which are themselves doc types. So you have a web form. So you attach a web form to a doc type, and then you can start collecting data from your website, right? Survey forms, feedback forms, etc., etc. We also have webhooks. So when something happens in your system, like some document is updated, you can trigger a webhook. This is like no code. And we have reports. So there are like variety of level of reports that you can build out of the data in your system. And there are server scripts and notifications as well. So notifications also a no code feature. Server scripts are a low code feature. So you write small Python scripts that run on the server and add some business logic or validation or functionality to your existing doc types. Cool. So the desk, right? This is the desk. And this is the admin interface basically. So if you have used Django, right, you know about the admin console. This is like far more feature rich than that. So everything you do is through the UI here. And let's jump into the hands-on, because it's all better understood by a demo. So what I will do is, so you could use a Frappe Cloud site, but I already have this running. So don't worry about this bench or anything right now. I'm just going over low code, no code things. We will go to app development in the second section. So I have a lot of sites. So let's open one of them. I'll just open it up in the browser. Fresh.dev 8000/app. So you could go to Frappe Cloud and get a site for this. Yeah. So this is the desk. I hope this is visible and not cut out. Yeah. Looks like it is visible. So as soon as you land in the desk, right? So it is /app in your Frappe sites /app. This is the admin interface. So you get a lot of stuff. So if I check about, right, I have this app, but this app that doesn't matter. But the main thing is Frappe framework. So it is version 15 developed. So version 15 is currently in beta, but I'm going to use that because it's soon going to be the next major version, and you can also get links to some help. And what else? Yeah. So this is like the search bar, so you can quickly jump into stuff from here. You have your profile settings. Okay, so I'm logged as an administrator, but there is user management, so you can create as many as users with roles and profiles, right? They can then edit their profiles. Yeah, so then we have this thing where we jumped into. It is called a workspace, so you can create your own workspace as well without writing any code. So it's also no code. You give it a title, and then you can, using drag, drop, resize, you can create this workspace. Yeah. So let's jump into build. So build will let you build stuff, right? In this site, in this particular site. So you have doc type that I talked about. It's the core of everything. And then you have some stuff that is linked to the doc type. You have also a link to learn Frappe framework. And there are some other stuff that you can slowly explore, but I will go into doc type. So what I want to do, so as you see, there are like 252 doc types. I think one of them is like I created, one or two of them. But other than that, they all come out of the box with Frappe framework. Basically everything in Frappe framework is a doc type. Even doc type is a doc type. See, right here. Very meta, but yeah. So even error log has a doc type. There is workflow, recorder, report, right? Everything is a doc type. And once you understand the concept of doc type, you understand everything, right? So let's start by creating a doc type. So what is the goal here? What do we want to build? So basically I thought of building something that we already are familiar with. So this is the meetup page, right? Let's try to model this meetup using a doc type in Frappe framework. And then we will also enable a web view. So this kind of view is available to the user, right? The website user. Website users are the those who don't have access to the desk, the admin interface, right? Cool. So let's start. I will call it PDC meetup. So let's be specific here. PDC meetup. I'm giving the name to the doc type, so it should be unique across in the system. And you can choose a module. So these modules are basically for grouping together stuff, right? The doc types, server scripts, and so on and so forth. So I'll create a new module definition. You can select the app. I will click custom because I want it to be. So if you are not in developer mode, right, it will be auto checked. I am in developer mode, hence this is the case. So let's call it meetup customizations or something. You can call it anything. And as you can see, it is selected, and I will keep this custom on. So yeah, now you fill in the details. As I was saying, right, there is metadata related, so you can track changes. So it tracks each time some field of your entity changes, right? It will track views, who viewed your document in the desk. And there are some other stuff here. You can configure how it is named, so that I will go over later, and permissions. So everything is metadata, but the main thing I will go here is the form. So this will be the columns and or the fields of this document, right? Of this doc type, of this entity or model, right? So one field was automatically ordered for us. So that's fine. We'll keep it here. But as soon as you select your field, right, you will get the properties of that field. So you can look for like a lot of stuff here, but also you can search if you already know. So I know that I want to make it mandatory. So I will search for mandatory and make it mandatory. So as you can see in the preview, it got an asterisk mark because it is now mandatory. So this is like metadata driven, right? This is what I was talking about. Yeah. And we can add new fields. So we have quite a lot of different type of field types. These are basically column types, if you will, but some of them are like composite, and they map to some simple in the backend, and Frappe takes care of creating the backend model and keeping it in sync with your schema, whatever you update here. Okay, so there is title, and let's jump back. What else we need? We need hosted by. Okay, uh, hosted by, and then there are event details, and then there is this link to the webinar. Okay, and there is also date. Okay, so let's model it. So first was, so I need a data field. Data field is basically a 200 character limit text field. Hosted. For now, I'll make it a data field, and you can like lay out the form here and here itself, and it will store this metadata as well with your entity. So let's move it to the second column. And what else do I need? I need the date. So date will basically let us store the date, right? A date. So it will open up a date input in your form. So let's call it event date. Make it mandatory as well. Hosted by should be mandatory. Yeah, and we can have editor. So we have 3 editors. So there is text editor, which is a simple one, markdown editor, and HTML editor. So what I will do is, so I will drag text editor, which is a rich text field, and let's create another section for it. Let's delete this, move this to the top, and move this section to the bottom. Yeah. So now we have, so let's call it event details. So if you have any questions, please post in the chat, and make sure we answer them before the event ends. So let's hit save now. It is saved, right? So our form was saved. We added 4 fields, and so this button appeared, right? So go to PDC meetup list. PDC meetup is the name of our doc type, and this is the list view you get, right? So this list view is consistent across any doc type you create. And so it is prompting us to create a new PDC meetup. So what happened behind the scenes is basically it created a database table, PDC meetup, and now it is like asking us to create one record of it, one document is what we call. Okay, so let's give it a title of the same, rapid app development with Frappe low code. So okay, yeah, title, hosted by Chinmay and Akshay. Okay, let's go back. Let's, yeah, event date is today, and event details we can copy from here. Ever stuck dealing with this everything can be copied here. Awesome. Now I'll hit save, and created this document. And now if you want, like if you realized, okay, there is some issue here, or you want to update it, you can update it, right? So you got create, you got update, reading you're already doing, and delete also you can come here and delete, right? And again I go back to the list view. Now I have one entity, right? One. So version 15 will be released in the conference, which is in like 10 days, and it will be stable. It is stable almost, but yeah, officially it will be released during the conference, which is on 8th and 9th of September. Does that answer your question? Since your username is in, I don't know which language, I can't read your name, but fine. Cool. Yeah. So this was creating, reading, update, deleting. So you get the CRUD, right? So like 97% of the work is done when you have CRUD. But I don't like this ID, right? This is the unique ID or the primary key which Frappe generated for me, and I want to somehow control it. So let's check what this uses as a primary key. So it has a slug, right? It has a huge number. We can do the same, by the way. So what I can do is I go back, I delete this. So you can also bulk delete from the list view. So I deleted it, right? I go back into the details, and there is a whole section on naming rule. How do you want it to name, right? So either the user can set it, either it can be auto increment. So auto increment is the one I will go with. It is basically primary key set as int and auto incrementing integer. Let's hit save. Let's go to PDC meetup list. Let's create the meetup again. And I will paste in this details here. And again, why did I delete it? No chat in the meetup. Fine. Title event date is today. Akshay and Chinmay. Save. Okay, now it is 1, right? So now we did control how it is being named. Hi Ratkesh, welcome. So yeah, but now I don't like this how, because we gave it a title, right? So I want the title to be title here as well as here. So as I said, everything is metadata, right? So we go back to the doc type form. We go to settings and then view settings. We have this title field. What do you want to be the title field? So let's call it title. Hi Govind. And I will check this as well. You don't have to understand what that is, but just understand that I set the title field. And now in the list view, whatever I mentioned the title field, right, it will be at the first. And also when you open the form view, it will show up as the header of this form. That is what we did. Yeah, now create, read, update, delete, some metadata. Awesome. So you have a lot of features in the desk. So you have assignment feature like baked right into the system. So you can assign to any user in your system. You can assign a priority and then you can add the assignment. So you have assigned this particular user and he will get a notification. Okay, you have been assigned this particular document. Go check it out. We have attachment. So there is this file uploader. You can either link or you can choose from your library that you already uploaded, or you can upload from your device. So let's upload this latest thumbnail. So you can optimize, you can crop, all right in, right? You don't have to go into any other application. And either you can mark it private or public. Private requires like authentication to access this file, but public will make it available for anyone with the link. So let's upload. And as you can see, this file was attached. And here also this is the timeline view, right? So as you can see, who created this, when was it last edited. If you hover over it, right, it will show the exact date time. So administrator assigned me, then I attached this photo. So everything is tracked here. And we also have built-in comments. So if you want to add comments, right, for example, this is a sales invoice and you want to tag the sales team. Okay, sales team, go please take a look in this document, right? So I can tag users here as well. Okay, Hussain, please take a look. So this all you didn't have to write from scratch, right? So you can focus on the main business logic instead of this. Yeah, this was this. You can add tags and you can follow, right? You can share it with other users who might not have access to it. Yeah. This is the doc type. Right. And now next I can show you a few features, low code, no code features before we jump into app development. So I will go to build again. And if you scroll down, where is it? No, go to website. And here you have blog post, blogger, web pages, website settings. You can like customize themes, colors, right, of your website. You can create blog posts. The main thing I want to go over is the web page. And as you see, everything in Frappe is a doc type. So web page itself is a doc type, has a similar list view, but configured for itself. And then let's create our first web page. So I'll give it a title about Pune developer community. Right. You can set a route. So what route it should be accessible, right? So I will call it about PDC. you can set the module. As I said, you can use the module to group things. And then there is a feature which will let you export this customizations. So yeah, you can have a dynamic route as well. So page builder is the no code one. You could also write HTML, markdown or rich text. Let's stay with page builder and I will. So this is called a child table in Frappe. You could have your own child tables as well in your entities or doc types. So as you can see, there are like a lot of pre-built templates that you can use, or you can create your own templates, writing some HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So I'll go with the hero section and I will edit the values. So these are basically the slots or props that this template requires. So I'll call it Pune developer community. I can give it a subtitle, you awesome events, right? And then I can give a primary action label, join community, and you can give it a, I will just point it to some domain I own. I will hit save, and it is published, right? So you can publish and publish using this checkbox, and a link appeared right on the side view. That's see on website, and this, right? Our web page is live on the internet. So you could share it with others. You can build, add lot of more information here, and then it will be awesome. So this is like no code. You didn't write any code, but you were able to build website. And you have a lot of customization option as well. You can have context. So you write a little Python to get some data from your database, and you can use that in your HTML templates. You can write some JavaScript. So document. So I'll call in alert. Hello. Right? That alert came in here. This is all low code. You can write some styles. So if you do insert style, you will be able to write some CSS. And then there are other settings. So you can set a publish date. You can set meta tags for SEO and social media purposes. Yeah. Cool. You can also take full control using an HTML. So you write all the HTML yourself. That's fine too. Cool. Any doubts still here? We did like basic doc type, and then we added a web page using the page builder or web page doc type. And then let's reload page builder, right? As you can see, it is a doc type, so it also has a timeline view. So this all is common among doc types. It has a sidebar. You can attach stuff to this particular document. You have comments. Cool. So one last thing I will go over is web form, which is, as you can see, there are like 4 web forms already created. So these 3 are the standard ones that come out of the box with Frappe. For example, requesting data, request for account deletion, updating profile. So if I visit one of them, as you can see, this is a proper web form inside the website, not the desk, not the admin interface. And we can build our own to collect information from the website user, right? So let's build one new. So I want people to be able to submit a PDC call for proposal. So they want to propose a talk for, right? So I can select a doc type where this data will go right after the collection. So we already have that event. What was it? PDC event? PDC meetup, yeah. And I can write a small introduction. Please fill, I'll show you where this appears. Please fill in the details in the form. And there are no forms, no fields. So it's an empty web form. Empty web forms are useless. So we have this get fields button, right? So what this will do is this will fetch all the fields from our doc type PDC meetup. And you can remove useless fields from here. So this all is mandatory, hosted by, event details. Let's hit save. So it is not published, right? It is not live on the website, but I will hit publish and it is published now. So let's go and see it on website. our own web form, right? Now the user fills in this. You can share this link to anyone. You can link it on your the web page we created, right? So let's call it my new talk. They can give it a date. Okay, I want to do it on 19th of October, hosted by me, right? And they can also provide some event details. Hello, this is okay. Then they can, obviously this is rich text, and then they hit save. So they get this success response. They can submit another response. So if we go to PDC, right, PDC meetup, as you can see, this new record got created and it has all the data from the web form. But we didn't have to create it from the desk, right? It came in from the web, from the user, the website user, what we call in Frappe. You have customization, so you can customize the label, okay, register, or you can also customize the success page itself. Proposal submitted. You can redirect to someplace else, right? You can display success message. You can add scripting and styles, CSS and JavaScript. You can again add meta information, right? You can make it anonymous, make it login required, not login required. You can allow attachments, right? There are other settings if you enable login, right? So you can show them the list. Okay, these are all the previous responses that you submitted. Lot of customization stuff, all low code, no code. There are a lot of stuff, but since we are limited on time, we won't go over them. So I would recommend you to play around with it. You get a 15-day free trial, right? Without the credit card. Just play around with it. Create doc types, create web pages, web forms, blog posts, right? So there is this user list. You can check, okay, these are the users in my system. So when you open your site for the first time, right, you get a wizard, setup wizard that I didn't show. In that setup wizard, you create your first user. Okay, this will be the user, the system user or the main primary user. And then they can go ahead and add new users to your system. And they will get an email, okay, come set your password and start using the system. Awesome. Let's get back to the slides. So this was low code, no code. You can create a few more doc types. You can link them together, right? You can get stuff working. And let's do one thing. Add a little bit of scripting, right? Let's add a little bit of scripting before we go into app development. So I will go and search for. So there are two types of script you can write. So one is server script that you write in Python that runs in the server, and then there is client script that you write in JavaScript and it runs on the client. That is basically the desk. So there's PDC meetup, right? So what can we do here? Okay. Suppose I want to capitalize the title automatically, right? After it is updated or saved, right? So that is logic, right? Very silly example, but you will get the point. So I will go to server script, right? You can have I will delete the existing server script. So let's add a server script. Okay. Server script is not enabled by default in V15. Please contact your administrator to enable this feature. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's see how we can enable this. Or let's go back and we'll come back here once we know a little more about apps. But you could write some Python and it will run on an event. So yeah, now comes the next level. For using this, you can build a lot of different utility applications. You can build websites, web pages with dynamic data, right? We support Jinja. So Jinja is like a templating language that you can use to generate some rendered HTML using some dynamic data from your database. And what about building apps and products, right? So let's talk a little bit about the tech stack of Frappe framework. And so languages, as I mentioned, Python and JavaScript. The database is MariaDB or Postgres. You can choose which one you want to use to power Frappe sites. There is caching and queuing powered by Redis. So yeah, front end is all Bootstrap and jQuery in the desk, and templating is Jinja, as I mentioned. So bench is the thing that you install on your local computer that basically controls these processes and lets you create new sites, lets you manage apps, update sites, all of the management. It is a CLI tool that will let you do all of that. So you can start, stop your web servers, right? So this is the architecture of the bench. Basically, you have sites, so you can have multiple sites on the bench, and then you have a collection of apps. So suppose, for example, this site might have these two apps, this site might have these two apps, right? But once you update any app on this bench, all sites get updated. You can of course have multiple benches. And then there is node is used for, one is for socket IO. It runs a socket IO process, so it pushes real-time events to the front end, taking it from the Redis queue. And then there is workzoob, which powers the web server, right? There is Redis. There are background jobs as well, which are run by workers. And then there is this Python virtual environment that is for this particular bench. So you could do bench pip install, and it will install that particular package in your bench environment. Yeah. So env folder is for that in the bench directory. Then there is MariaDB and Postgres, which is the primary database, right? So your sites, so each site, so it is multi-tenant. So each site has its own database here in your MariaDB server, and they can talk to it. Yeah, this was a brief about bench architecture. So interacting with the bench, right? So once you install bench, I can share the installation. So when you go to frappeframework.com, right, /docs, you will find the installation instructions for Mac and Linux. So Windows, it doesn't work on Windows, the bench. Even though the Frappe is a web-based software, right? So you can use it anywhere. In the mobile as well, the responsiveness is pretty nice. So you could use in mobile. And interacting with the bench, right? So adding bench, so you can get apps so that others have written, right? So any open source app, you guys just paste the Git URL of that app and you can install it. You can create your own custom apps, which we will discuss a little bit more in coming slides. You can create new sites. You can install apps on particular sites. So this will add the app to the bench, but then you can install selectively. Okay, this site needs this app, just install it. Okay. Custom apps is like creating our own apps, right? So you can define your own models, views, and metadata, as I said. So what I did was like custom, so it remained in the site. But as soon as you create your own apps and go out of developer mode, this generates code in the backend that if you share, right, if you push to GitHub and share it with others, they install the app, they get the same doc types, the same metadata that you have set, all reusable. There are templates, right? Web views. So web views are basically creating a web view for a particular doc type. If time allows, we will do that in our custom app. And there are portal pages. So portal is basically the web part of it, not the desk. So we did create a portal page using the web page doc type. Just in the demo, right? We created an about PDC page. And a lot of other stuff as well. Reports, notifications, all of that you can also export to your custom app. And this will become reusable app which you can install on other sites, Frappe sites. So this is the beauty, right? This is the part when you are writing code, right? When you're writing the Python code in the backend in your custom Frappe apps or server scripts, if it allows. So it allows a lot of this, almost all of this, I think, in the server script. But in server scripts are restricted for security purposes. So no malicious user can come and like ruin your server. But in your custom apps, you can do anything. You can install third-party Python packages. You can process some stuff by importing those packages, right? And these are the core pieces of Frappe framework. So Frappe framework has this ORM, right? So you do get doc. And let's jump to the desk. I will show you quickly. So you have this PDC meetup list, right? So get doc, you give it the doc type and the name, it will give you all this data as a dictionary. And then there is frappe.db.getValue, there is frappe.db.setValue. So you can interact with your database, right, through the ORM. It makes it easy to do that. So you just have to interact as if you're interacting with the doc types in the form view. Then there is like Redis cache. So you do frappe.cache and you get access to your cache, right? So you don't have to worry about configuring it, connecting to it, anything. In your Frappe apps, you just do frappe.cache.setValue and that's it. You do get value, that's it. You can publish real-time events from the backend, and frontend also has an API to basically listen to these events. So you might want to check out this Frappe certification training playlist that I have on the channel. That covers a lot of these topics in detail. Then there is frappe.enqueue method. So everything like this abstractions make it very easy and low code, and that's why rapid, right? Because you are not writing boilerplate code or connecting to the database or anything. You just write, okay, frappe.enqueue, you give it a function and arguments and tell it to enqueue to the background, it will enqueue it in the background. And as soon as some worker is free, it will be executed and done. You have a send mail utility. So you can send emails from your system. You just have to configure your email once, and then you can anywhere in your scripts, you can do frappe.sendmail, pass in the recipient, subject and body, it will send emails. So we also have an email queue doc type where you can check, okay, what all emails are in the queue. Okay, again, hands on time. Let's go. So here I have my own bench. So when you do bench start, right, it will start the processes. It will start the web server at port 8000 by default. And this will start printing logs, right? If I stop it, let's stop it and let's restart. So bench start is the command to start the bench. It will start the web process. It will start the socket.io process, Redis instances, and so on and so forth. As you can see, 9000 8000 is the one where web app is running, where we visited, right? And you can have multiple sites. So I have added a host. So site name is the thing you refer to, and then port 8000. So cool. Let's create a new app. PDC meetups. You can give it a title. App to host PDC meetups. App publisher is World with Hussain. Email is you can give it a license. Even you can add GitHub actions as CI to run unit tests for your app. So Frappe has also support for running unit tests. So there is a command bench run test, which basically runs the test whatever you have written in your custom app. For this I will go no, and it has. So app is installed, added to the bench. So if you do ls, right, I have a lot of apps, but the one we created right now is where is it? PDC meetups. Awesome. Let's cd into PDC meetups, and I will open it up in Visual Studio Code. And here you have like the most basic app containing nothing, right? It doesn't have any doc types, anything. So let's do one thing. Let's back to our site and let's try to get this inside our app, right? So first thing I will need to do is, since if you check about, right, it is not automatically installed on the site. So we have to tell bench, okay, install this particular app on that site. So bench dash site. What is it? Site name is fresh.dev. Okay. Fresh.dev, install app, and the app name, which will be PDC meetups. Okay, it installed it. So it tries to restart the bench, but so it stopped the bench. I'm restarting the bench. And now if we go and refresh, right, refresh it here. I just hit refresh. And if I go to help and about again, as you can see, our PDC Meetups app got installed. And now what I can do is, I'm opening up, so I've already opened it up in VS Code, right? So it is open here. And I'll go to doc type. I will uncheck this custom and I will change the module to PDC. So PDC Meetups is the name of our AMP. Same names module will be created for you, where you can, so I uncheck the custom. So it is no longer a customization on the site itself. So I hit save. I go back to my custom app, right? So there are some changes, as you can see, Git pointed out. This doc type got stored, right? It has a JSON schema, which basically is everything you configured in your form while you were creating the doc type, right? So you have the title, event date, right? So now you can share this app and anybody can host meetups, right? Create a Frappe instance, install this app, and they get all this functionality. And just not that, you get a JSON Python file. So here you can write the JavaScript to customize this particular doc type, either list view or form view. So if you want to add a button to trigger something, right, you can do that. And here is the class that was generated. So it inherits from a document, which is doc type. And this is the name of the class. This all was generated by Frappe when you created this doc type, right? And so let's do some stuff, right? Write some code. So this PDC meetup is this py file that it controls it. And there are hooks which you can hook into, right? So this all may seem sparingly all over the place, but I'm trying to give you an overview as much as possible. So you yourself could go ahead and give it a try, explore stuff, and then you will be able to better understand, okay, these are the powers of this framework. These are the stuff, this is the core stuff that I want to learn if I want to proceed with this and stuff. So this is the class. So what I will do is, so you have variety of hooks that you can hook into. So one of them is before save, right? So this will run before any document of PDC meetup doc type is saved to the database. What I will do is, if self dot, so self refers to the particular document. So maybe this is the document title, right? Self dot title is greater than 25 length of, so this is now Python. Length of the title is greater than 25. So Frappe has this throw utility which can help you throw validation, Frappe.validation error type exceptions. You can even configure what exceptions you throw, right? But for this we need to import Frappe. Let's uncomment this import. Let's go back. Now what I will do is I will make it very long. I will hit save, right? Title cannot be more than 25 characters. UI, everything is controlled by Frappe. You just have to write your logic. This is like 3 lines of code. You can even, if it is not right, you can do self.title equal to, as we were discussing, self.title.upper. I can go back. I can make it smaller. Okay, 25 is too low. Let's make it 50 and hit save. As you can see, this was all made capitalized and the form refreshed, right, with the data. Awesome. This was some controller code, the scripts that you can write, right? Cool. You can even write JavaScript, as I was telling. So I will show you. So JavaScript also, you might have guessed, has some APIs. So I will uncomment the boilerplate code. And here I get access to this FRM, which is basically the form object that controls this form. And I can start interacting with the form. So frm.add custom button. So I can give it a title. Send reminders. So then I can write, so this is the code that will run when I execute. So let's do console log for now. And I will go back, I will hit refresh. And as you can see, the button appeared, right? Now, if you open JavaScript console, so you can find all this in the documentation as well. And I have comprehensive episodes on client scripting and server scripting. So as you can see, it is being logged. You don't have to define, attach an event listener or something, right? You just add a custom button, you tell it, okay, run this, right? When the user clicks the button. Awesome. Lot of APIs out there, impossible to cover in 2 hours. So yeah, but you can see how rapidly we were able to build this form. We wrote some validations for this form. We wrote a client script to add buttons, right? You can even group buttons if you pass a third argument here. Okay, actions. So now it will, if you refresh, it will be a drop down with actions with multiple buttons. This all is like part of Frappe framework. Cool. Okay. So again, I'll show you some more low code stuff, no code stuff, not low code, no code. So I was talking about REST API, right? How do you interact with your Frappe system from the outside? You will need some API, right? You will need some APIs which you can call and you get the data, or you set the data or whatever. So Frappe has this REST API where you can, the documentation is also comprehensive. So you have token based authentication as well. I will show you how to get the token and start calling it. So REST is basically /API/resource and the name of the doc type. So any doc type in the system. So let's try to get the list of all. So listing documents is like, make a get request through this and it will return the data, right? So let's go. So I'm opening Insomnia, which is a tool that I use. So you can use anything, Postman or Hoopscotch or curl, right? Fresh.dev, port 8000. As I can see, /API/resource. Name of the doc type is PDC meetup, and I will make a get request. Permission error, right? Because this is an unauthenticated request. So how do we authenticate? Let's go back to the user list. I'll go to user, right? Settings, API access, right? So there is an API key and API secret. I will regenerate it. So now I can copy this API secret and you pass it in the headers, or I can use this auth tab as well, but fine. I'll do authorization bearer. So this all is available in the docs. So you need both API key as well as API secret. So let's copy the API key. So it will be API key : API secret. Again, from the docs, no need to worry about this. And I will send the request now. Okay. What's happening? I don't have access to it. Or did I spell it incorrectly? Okay, let's check. Token based auth, authorization. Is the spelling wrong? No, it is correct. Bearer token PDC meetup. Maybe what happened is I have system manager role, right? So let's check system manager, and you can see what all doc types this particular role has access to. Let's check if it has PDC meetup. PDC meetup, yeah, there is this permission. Then why? Maybe I'm making request at the wrong location. It's a get request. Seems fine. Insufficient permission for PDC meetup. Okay, let's go to the doc type list. PDC meetup. Okay, we can't. So let's try this. So I want to give every role access to at least read and update. Let's go back, make the request again. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Assume PDC meetup is the name of the doc type. Yeah, they have the permissions. Or did I do something wrong while getting my API keys? Let's check. API key and secret look fine. Oh, it is called token, not bearer. Got it. Token. So bearer is for OAuth authentication. So bearer key is basically when you use the OAuth feature, right? So Frappe has built-in OAuth. So you can generate tokens. You can then use bearer tokens instead of this token, which is the API key token. As you can see, this time it succeeded. And it returned the name. So 1 and 2. But I can do more than that. So I can do fields equal to. I want the title field, right? I'll hit send. As you can see now, it sends the title field. So this was all ready made, right? You didn't write anything. You just created the entity and you got CRUD from the desk, CRUD from the REST API. Now you can do and order by as well. Order by. So let's get the date. Event date. Order by. Event date. Now it is ordered by event date, right? Cool. So now I'll go back, come here, token based auth. We got the API key and secret from the user. So as you can see the example, it is being called from fetch. You can do that. You can also do password based authentication. And then there is this OAuth, right, that I was talking about. So I was using the bearer accidentally, but yeah. So you get an access token from the OAuth lib. So you have list, you have read, right? And this is like very interesting feature. So you can make remote procedural calls. So RPC is there. So what I will do is I'll go to my PDC meetup, right? PDC meetup.py file. You can write it in any Python file in anywhere in your custom app. And what I will do is I will write a function, say get emoji, right? So maybe it returns an emoji. Let's get an emoji. Okay, which one? Yeah, let's get the confetti. Ha. So VS Code is suggesting something else, but fine, I'll go with confetti. And now I want to call this function, right? This procedure from the REST API or the desk or someplace else. So only thing I have to do is do this frappe dot whitelist. So this is whitelist this function to be able to call from the front end. So this will require authentication. You can optionally pass this allow guest equal to true if you want anybody, right, even non-logged in user to be able to access this API, but I won't. And how do you call it from the third party or your client, right? What you do is I'll go here. Instead of doing resource, right, I will do method. And I just have to give the dotted path to this method, get emoji. So it will be PDC meetups, PDC along URL, right? So usually it is recommended, not recommended. It's a convention that you have a separate api.py file because the dotted path will be cleaner this way. I'll move this whitelisted method to here. I will get the Frappe import as well. And now it is pdc meetups.api.get emoji. pdc meetups.api.get emoji. Awesome. Cool. So this was REST API. right out of the box. Cool. So we covered a lot of stuff. It's like in 1 hour almost. Yeah. So we covered low code, no code. We covered app development. Maybe I went too little too fast, but yeah, you can rewatch the recording. I will update the thumbnail. So this thumbnail was the 5th August thumbnail, but yeah, we saw how you can generate your doc types, right? You can write client scripts to control your forms. You can write client scripts to control your list as well. And so let's go back to our Frappe site, right? As you can see, you can change password. A lot of user management stuff is available. You have roles and permissions. So yeah, let's go back to the doc type list and PDC meetup, right? So what I want now is I will create 1 or 2 more doc types and show you how to like build relationship between them. So hosted by, right, I want it to be a link field. So any user hosted by is a particular user. Okay, this user is hosting it. So what I will do is I will make it a link field, and then you can link it to a particular doc type. So in this case, I will link it to a user. I will hit save. I'll go to PDC meetup list. And now I'll clear this. As you can see, this is fetching records from the doc type, which is the user doc type I mentioned. And now it is linked to that. Now if you click and you can directly go from here. Now I have linked this PDC meetup to this user, right? Using this link field. Think of it as the foreign key, right? Although it is not implemented as foreign key in the backend, interestingly. So yeah, this was this link field. And what about one-to-many relationships, right? So I want to store the attendees of this event. They can be multiple, right? So link field won't work. Even hosted by can be many multi-select field. So for that, first I want to model the attendee, right? What will the attendee look like? So let's go and create a new doc type. Doc types creation is easy. So I will call it meetup attendee, and PDC meetup attendee. Module will be PDC meetups. So you can create more modules linked to your app. That's fine. So I don't want to track. So one thing I will check here is the child table, right? So child tables are basically Frappe's way of allowing you to do one-to-many relationships. So if you recall, we were in the web form and it had a table, right, where you added fields. So it was a child table. So one web form but multiple fields. So similarly, one meetup but multiple attendees, right? So I'll show you what it does. So just check this is child table, and I will go to the form. So an attendee can have a first name. I will fetch one more data. Last name. Move it to the second column. And the next can be another data field. Email. So Frappe has this feature in options, right? You can provide in any data field, you can write email and it will automatically apply the email validations properly to this field. There are URL, contact number as well, phone. So yeah, now it is created. You can see the preview of this doc type. As you can see, it doesn't have a list view, right? You can't go to the list view of this because standalone attendees does not exist. They can be part of another doc type. So I'll go to the form, and if you go to field types, you have a table field here. Let's drag table field down below, and here you have to tell Frappe, okay, this is the doc type this table should be, right? We created just a child table, right? So it should be linked to a child table. So let's do this. PDC attendees, and let's hit save. I'll show you what's happening. Let's go to PDC meetup list. As you can see, a table was added, and if I row one row here, right? So this is one document of the PDC attendee. So you can have multiple here. So one to many relationships. So I can give a first name John. John at apple.com. Joseph. Okay, so we have to configure it, right? Currently no columns are visible out here. So what I will do is I will go back again, metadata. So I will go to form. I will select this in list view. It was previously called in grid view, but yeah, fine. So let's go back. As you can see, now everything is in the list view. Hi Salim, welcome back. So let's add. First name was John at apple.com. Let's keep the last name empty. So now you can add multiple of this, right? So Salim, right? Salim at Jomtech is your username, right? Awesome. So this is like modeling one to many. This was one to one, right? So only one user is linked to this, but multiple of the attendees are here. I can give it a label. Let's give it a label. We didn't give it a name itself. So let's call it attendees. Even let's call it attendees. Let's hit save. Okay, it has been modified. Let's reopen. I'm just changing the name of the field and a label. Hit save. So this might have vanished because I didn't write a proper patch to migrate, because when the name of the field changes, it is like another column. So let's quickly create some test records. Yeah. Cool. So this was one to many. So how do I access it in my app, right? So I'll show you a quick way. So you can attach a console, a Python console to your site, this running site. So if you have a local setup, of course, or in the production install, if you have hosted it in some server, you have to SSH into it, and then you do console bench-site. The site name is fresh.dev. Console. That's it. So this is the Python console. As you can see, these apps are in the namespace. If I do exit for a bit and I show you MariaDB, right? MariaDB. So now this will connect to your site's MariaDB database. You can write, okay, select star from tab user. So I'm selecting everything from the user table. As you can see, it has all the stuff we saw in the list view, right? There were 3 users. So Frappe has this convention that, okay, in the backend, whatever your doc type name is there, right? It will prepend it with tab. The table name will be tab, then doc type name. So similarly, I can do, so I will do this because there is a space in it. PDC meet up. As you can see, there are 2 records. Awesome. So this is how you can query it, but from the console we have ORM, right? So we can do frappe dot get doc. What type of doc type do I want? PDC. So first parameter is the doc type, PDC meetup. Second is the name. So what's the name? It is 1. So you get the doc type. Let's store it. So I forgot to store it, so I can do a hack. Doc equal to underscore. So doc will have the same thing, right? Now I have access to its properties. So if I do doc dot title, I should get that, right? If I do doc dot hosted by, right, I get this user event date similarly. But if I do attendees, right, doc dot attendees, I get a list of a meetup attendee, right? So it has done all the magic behind the scene of fetching the attendees and making it available as a list here. So I can do Jenny j@j.com, come here, exit. I should have like auto reloaded it, but yeah, let's get this doc. Doc dot attendees. Now there are two attendees, right? Cool. So this was like, you can write this inside a script. So if you want to make sure that, okay, if there is an age column, you want to make sure every attendee should be like more than 18 years old. So you can come here in your this before save script and you can write. So if you want cleaner code, write validate attendee ages, and I will just create this here. Valid Python is valid. Thanks, right? Hey Pratik. So people, here we have Pratik Pandey, who is like my best friend. Say hi to Pratik. So first time I am doing like months of build with Hussain, right? He's joining today. Tell him something. Yeah. So as you can see, Copilot did this for me for attendee in attendees. So we saw it was a list, right? We iterated over it, and if we have a age field inside that. Okay, Prajwal Sankar asks, I'm getting import not found in server script console while writing in desk. Please let me know the solution. Yeah, you can't import. So there, as I said, Prajwal, right? There are some limitation to server script. That is one of the limitation. You can't import. So what are you trying to do? Can you tell me? I can suggest a workaround. Yeah, now it will be validated and like some error will be thrown, right? If you want to check this, we can add. So it is agile, right? So you go back. In the attendee, now we go to form. We take an int field, drop it here, call it age, make it non-negative, hit save. Parapa. Yeah, Salim says hi, Pratik. Come on. Okay. I think I know what is happening. So when you open up console, right, it locks some tables. Whatever you have done, get doc or what. So you close up the console and now it got saved. So now if I go to the doc type list, right, and PDC meetup, I should have an age column. So let's set the age to 29 for John and 17 for Jenny. Hit save. As you can see, attendee cannot be less than 18 years old. We can make the message a bit better. Okay, which attendee, right? So I can do an F string here. Attendee dot first name, and then again I come here, hit save. Okay, attendee Jenny cannot be less than 18 years old. Awesome. So let's make her 19, hit save, and now it got saved properly. Awesome. Now we're building apps. JS, PY. So JSON files are the one that are usually. So if you may have noticed, we didn't have to make migrations or, right? We need to, usually in frameworks, you need to run make migration. It makes a migration file, and that is when you run to migrate an old database to a newer version, maybe added new columns or something. But Frappe uses this JSON file and a hash of it to migrate, right? You don't need to create migrations. It will take care of that automatically. When you run bench migrate, right? In development mode, it is like syncing to the database as we add it. I'm doing age calculation based on years, so I imported date time from Frappe and I tried to. Okay, so you don't need to import date time. So basically, date time is available there. So let me just go here. I'll go to system console. So system console is basically whatever you can run in the system console, you can run in the server script, right? This is customization or insight analogous to what we run here, right? The console. So let's do frappe dot. You were doing utils dot. You were doing date time, right? So you want to calculate age based on DOB. So let's store the DOB. 200318 is my date of birth. Okay, so there are a lot of utilities that you can use directly here. You don't need to import, and imports don't work in server script, so it is restricted. So we use a Python library called restricted Python, and we restrict what all is available here. So you do have some stuff like JSON, etc., which are useful. So I can log today, right? So let's log it. Okay, server scripts are disabled. Let's enable server script for this site. So where do you configure your site, right? Where do you do stuff? So how, let's see if it tells us where we need to enable it. Please enable, read the documentation to know. Okay, let's go to documentation, Frappe framework. So this was very recent change. V15. Server scripts won't be enabled by default. You need to enable it at bench level. Server script. Okay, server script. Starting V15. Server script are disabled to improve security. Shared benches. You can enable them using this command. Okay, let's enable them for our bench. So it is a bench level. So okay, now server script is enabled. We may need to restart it, right? Let's restart the bench. Okay, cool. Let's copy our code so it doesn't go away anywhere. Anyway, we didn't have to worry. Yeah, I'll paste and now I'll hit execute. As you can see, I get the date for today. So there are a lot of utility functions, and one of them is, I guess, you want the age, right? So we need to basically find the difference between the days. So let's see if we have a function for that. Since like Frappe is open source, you can directly jump into Frappe source code. It is the first and required app that every site gets, because every other things are built on top of it. So I will go into data.py, since I know there are like lot of date functions that are undocumented, but you can find here. So let's see if we have a difference or two days between. I'm searching for a utility function that can let us do this, but I think minus operators should also work, because okay, then the date type is required. So let's see what type is today. Okay, type is restricted as well, fine. But I will somehow get it working. Just give me a second. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong place. Maybe it is in date dot. Okay. Okay, you can use get date. So let's do that. So it returns a date instance. Let's do frappe dot utils dot get date. I'll pass this string, so it will parse and give us the date. Now we are just playing around a bit with the Frappe APIs. This should be the format which exactly is. And then there is add to date, there is add to date. There are so many functions. Okay, this. So it is called date diff and month diff, right? So for years, right, we can use month diff and divide by 12. So start date and end date. This is awesome. Though easier, we don't need to do get date as well. So this is what we do. We store today and the date of birth, and we just need log frappe dot utils dot month underscore diff, and we can see what the parameters are. End date and start date. Okay, end date is today, so we want to calculate the age today, comma dob 282 months. So I just need to divide it by 12, which is 23 years, which is correct. Does that answer your question, Prajwal Sankar? You can explore a bit. This all documentation you can find. Let me just point you to this documentation. So there is this utility, right? Utility functions, yeah, right. So this I wrote when I joined Frappe. Like this is because I also was wondering what all useful utilities are available, like that I can use. So you can use now, you can use get date. You have today, right, which we used, which returns a string of today, whatever date is. You can add to date. I have given an example. You can pretty date. So if you want to form something like, okay, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Awesome. Lot of stuff. Yeah, do check out the documentation. So this was, now I can move this stuff right to server script. So server script now works because I enabled it. So what I will call is set maybe age from dob, assuming I have an age dob field and I want to set age. Yeah, no need for import. So many things you can do without import. So there are, like, you can parse JSON, there you can do get doc, right? frappe.getDoc, frappe.db.get value, set value. You can even use the query builder we have. So we have a query builder in Frappe called frappe.qb, and you can access that as well in your server scripts. So here are 4 types of this, right, event. So if you are going low code way, you don't want to build custom apps, right, and you still want the /API/method/ write your whitelisted methods, right, you can go with API. Just give it get emoji new, and you can write your script here. Frappe dot, just here you have to be like, you return, you can check the docs down below, that if you want to return something from your API, right, you have to do frappe response message. You have to set this key to whatever response you want. Let's take another emoji this time. So I will hit save. So if I go to insomnia and call this one, right, I just need to give it the name that I gave it here. I hit send, I get the new emoji, right? So this is one other way of writing APIs without building apps, low code way, right? You can allow guest, similar. Yeah. So now what I want is, I want a doc type event. Okay. Whenever, so this is similar to writing your hooks in this file, right? We wrote the before save. We could have well written this same thing in here. and here it is referred to as doc. So you have access to the doc in your server script if it is a type of doc event. I will hit save, and now this will still work, right? Cool. One more thing I will show you while I am here is scheduler event. So if there is some code, okay, do some calculation, right, and send emails, and it runs weekly. So this script, Frappe will trigger it weekly for you. You can even have yearly, monthly. So these are long. So long refers to the long queues in the backend, that okay, if your job is going to take a long time, use this long queues. You can even provide a cron syntax. Okay, you can completely control. So this becomes a cron job. For now I will keep it weekly, and then I can do frappe dot send mail. As you can see, there is some autocomplete as well, right? So send underscore mail, subject hello something, right? And it, as you can see, it is enabled, and it shows okay weekly, and it will show you the logs as well. When was it triggered, right? When was it triggered? Cool. Do you have any questions? I'll show you one more feature. There are a lot of features you have to explore, you have to dig deeper, and I'm pretty sure you are going to love it as you dig deeper. Email. So there is this auto report, right? So let's build a report. Let's go to our meetup. So I'll go to report view. This is the easiest of the reports. So you can add a group by something. So let's add a group by hosted by. So who is hosting, like how many meetups, right? Easily you added a group by from the UI, you got this. And now you can save this as a report. So I will give it events count of events by user. Hit submit. It created a report, right? Now I can go to the report list. So report is also a doc type, and count of records, right? You can show the report. So this will take you back to the report as it was like when you saved it. And one more cool feature is you can set up auto email. So I clicked on this auto email report. I created a new auto email that okay, every week generate this report, whatever report I have created, and send it to whoever you want, right? Just type in the email of those people. Administrator, no, not for administrator. Send it to hussain.frappe.io. So what will happen is, so I can select the frequency. I want it weekly. So day of the week, I want it every Wednesday, right? So this is all configuration. Configuration over code is the principle here. You are not writing a lot of code to get stuff working. You are configuring some stuff using some doc types to configure, right? So max rows 100. So it will generate this report, whichever report is selected here, right? So it will generate this report, this one, 2 columns, simple, hosted by count, and then it will send it to hussain@frappe.io weekly. Hello Rajneesh, welcome back. You can even add a message, okay, check this report. Awesome. Yeah, this was like a lot of ground we covered, but yeah, if you have stayed till now, it's awesome. Cool. Let's go back to the slides and finish it off. I'll have some water first. So I have this magical bottle that is green. So it acts as a green screen of itself. Fine, yeah. So next gen front end, right? So we saw the desk, right? You can do a lot of stuff in the desk, but what about building custom user interfaces, taking control in your hands? So for example, we have game plan, we have Frappe Insights. So let me just show you one example. Frappe/Insights. All of them are open source, by the way. So yeah. So this is a custom built. So this is not a desk based program, right? This is, come on. Yeah. I'll open image in new tab. Yeah, this will be better. Yeah. So this is all custom, right? So how do you build this for yourself, right? Maybe you want to use React, maybe you want to use Vue.js, right? Baked by Frappe. That is all possible. And like very easy as opposed to it was before. So as you can see, this is a screenshot from Game Plan, which is our asynchronous tool built by Faris for communication, right? Then there is Frappe Insights built by Saqib, which is like a complete. So this all are built on Frappe framework. There is get dog get value somewhere, right? In the apps. So how do you build this, right? So we have Frappe UI, which is basically a pre-built library of components built on top of Vue.js, which you can use. Then we also have React libraries. So you can do this, like just go to, I will just share this. So if you want to set up a Vue.js or React application in your custom app, just go to, so I have this Topio. I'll share this. So it will extend your bench with commands that help you set up single page applications, right? Either React or Vue in your Frappe custom apps. Yeah. So there is Raven built by the community, the commit company using React. It is like a Slack alternative. It looks like beautiful. So Raven app.info. So this was built on React but baked by Frappe. Yeah, Prajwal, I can show you that. So again, what Prajwal is asking is, so we created a meetup, right? So PDC meetup, where did it go? PDC meetup list. So I want this event date to be populated to today by default, right? So I can go to the doc type, PDC meetup. In that field, right, event date, I can write today here. And then when I create a new, right? Oh, wait, why didn't it work? Maybe I misspelled it. Okay, maybe it is today. Let's see. I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah. No, not this. No. Something. Maybe this. I'm missing something, or I'm putting it at the wrong place. No. What am I doing? It should work, by the way. Why is it not working? Usually works. So when you set today, right, in a date field, it sets this automatically to today, which is the date when you are creating the doc type. Oh, weird. Okay. Oh, sorry. I am setting it in the options. We have to set it in default. Thanks for helping me out here. So you go to default, you set this. So either I can do this or I can do this, I guess. Come on. Okay, if you get the error if someone else modified the document and you don't have the, what do you say, latest one. So it will ask you to reload. So this is today. Let's go back. Let's hit refresh. And if I create a new one, as you can see, the event date is automatically set to today. Does that answer your question, Prajwal? So this sort of metadata, as I said, like event data fields, right? When you do in options, you have options of this. Either you can have URL validations, you can have email, you can have phone. Yep. Yeah, let's get back. So you can find about this, like not all of this is documented, but a lot of this is documented at frappeframework.com. And do check out like episode, I don't know which one was with Mayank. So he showed a lot of this cool low code features. Let's go to build with Hussain. I can share a link to his episode. So he's not a dev, so obviously he has showed us some cool stuff with no code, low code. Where is Mayank? Yeah, here is Mayank. Let me just share. Okay. Check out this episode, Prajwal. So he showed some cool features like this. And docs are still there. So docs don't have everything, but they have like a lot of stuff if you dig deeper. I'll share the links to the docs as well. Awesome. Let's get back. Yeah, I was telling about Raven, right? So this is built on React plus Frappe. As you can see, Frappe. 100% open source. You can deploy it on Frappe Cloud in just a click. Yeah, the Frappeverse, right? So Frappeverse is like huge. So we have this program called Frappe Incubator Program where so Raven is part of one of the projects in that incubator program. So we help you financially with marketing, etc., with design. If you are building a Frappe custom app, generic app, and open source using Frappe and Frappe UI, this will like do consider applying to this program. Let's build awesome apps together. We also have Frappe Cloud and Marketplace, so you can publish your apps that you build on Marketplace if it is very generic. So Frappe Cloud is our managed hosting platform, so you don't have to manage servers, right? You create bench, you install apps in a click. You can install any app in the Marketplace that you have supported once, and you can publish your own apps, paid, free, both. So you can start earning, right? So want to learn more? I'll point out some resources. There is frappeframework.com. There is frappe.school. So I take trainings in Frappe School as well. If you want to join a certification training where we go like 3 to 4 days, like 3 hour long sessions, just Frappe framework, learning app development. Yeah, if you want to learn more, you can join that. We have courses as well on ERP Next and Frappe on frappe.school. Next, you can visit buildwithhussain.dev, sign up there, new episodes, you get notifications. And don't forget to hit subscribe as well. And of course, everything is open source. Go to github.com/frappe, right? I made it clickable. So you can just click, and if you have the slides, right, you can see all our projects, HRMS, Docker, Frappe UI, other apps. So even Frappe Cloud is completely open source. So the whole cloud platform is open source. Cool. Yep. Thanks everyone for joining in this session. And I hope I was able to give you a glimpse of the power of the framework. And I was able to justify it. And yeah. Even if like few people come to know about framework from this, then it was worth it. Cool. Yeah, you can see as like there is a schedule. So this Wednesday I am working with Maharshi. He will join me, and then he's going to show off his new product called Print Designer, and he's going to build some formats and a feature as well. So you can see there are a lot of episodes. Cool. We'll see you guys then. If there are no questions. Again, I want to thank Chinmay and Akshay for setting this up in Pune developer community. So cool. Thanks everyone. So yeah, hope you have fun this weekend. Take rest. Enjoy, right? Read books, watch movies, whatever is your thing to chill. do it. So yeah, have a nice day everyone. Goodbye. Take care everyone.